Hey everyone, how's it going? My name's Cloud, and welcome to my Locals Retro for week 5 of the OP11 Meta. We are running Green-Yellow Yamato again for this week, and from my last retro video, I decided to settle on what I think will be my final Green-Yellow Yamato deck list for the OP11 Meta, so let's check out the deck list. As usual, I'll just be highlighting some of the key cards and strategies for this overview, but if you'd like me to go into a full deck list breakdown sometime, let me know in the comments below. Here is my final Green-Yellow Yamato deck list that I've settled on for OP11. I decided to lean towards a mid-range Wano build, but with a bit more hints of triggers compared to my earlier OP11 builds. And the reason why I decided to go with this is because between the two archetypes that I've played in the last 4 to 5 weeks, I liked the playstyle of the mid-range Wano build a lot more, but there were some stuff from my week 3 deck list when I was playing a more trigger-focused build that I liked and wanted to also incorporate into the deck list. Hence, this is what we've settled on. So we're going to first go over the mid-range cards, and then going to talk about the triggers after that, and we'll finally conclude with the new cards I've added to the deck. So starting off with the core mid-range cards, in the early game, I'm still playing the 1-cost Yamato. This card is great since it helps me look at the top 5 cards for a Land of Wano card that costs 2 or more and add it to my hand. But more importantly, because it's 1 Dawn, I can play it out early into the game, and if I'm able to attach 2 Dawn to it, it becomes a 5k attacker, so really good for Yamato, really like it. I'm also playing the 2-cost Izo still. This card gives my leader Banish, which is really powerful because when I use it in combination with my leader's double attack, I can go for very lethal double attack Banish swings. Not to mention, this card, if I'm able to attach 2 Dawn to it, does become a blocker, so it acts as a really good, cheap chunk blocker that I can use later into the game as well. Moving towards the middle stages of the game, I am still playing the 4-cost Hiyori. This card helps me cheat out a Land of Wano type character with a cost of 5 or less from my hand, and then draws me a card. So it's a nice card to help me cycle itself to, look through my deck a little bit deeper, while still being able to establish a character. So really like it, helps me keep in pace with the middle stages of the game. Moving towards the late game, I am still playing 5-cost Momonosuke, 6-cost Momonosuke, and 7-cost Hody Jones. I found these 3 to be the best top end for Yamato, and you can see here that I am playing a 3-2-4 split between the 3. So I'm playing 3 copies of the 5-cost Momonosuke because I am playing 3 copies of Hiyori and I wanted to have, a 1-to-1 pairing between the 2. But also, this card is really good. It's a blocker, helps me heal 1 life, and it has a really good attacking stat line for the meta currently. I'm only playing 2 copies of the 6-cost Momonosuke though. This card is a really good card for the deck, helps me make my leader a 6k power if I'm at 2 or less life cards, and acts as a really good alternative to Hody Jones when I need a rest character but don't want to take a life as early. So really good card there, but I don't see myself playing a lot of these cards. I want to see it maybe occasionally, so that's why I'm only playing 2 copies. And another reason is because by the time I'm at this, stage in the game, I really want to be playing the Hody Jones. So everyone knows what this card does. Helps me rest 2 of my opponent's characters or Dawn cards, and then I get to rush at them. I do have to take my own life though, which is a little unfortunate, and it's why the Momonosuke serves as a good alternative. But usually that's fine for me to do because I am trying to close out the game with Hody Jones. I am playing 4 copies of this though because I no longer have a lot of card draw on the deck, so I just want to make sure that I can see this card in all of my games. Moving on to the triggers though, specifically the trigger bodies, I've stuck with just 2 cards. First is the 4-cost Kinemon. This card is really good because it's a 2k counter, and it still has the same trigger that lets me play it out if my opponent is at 3 or less life. It's also got a good attacking stat line, so it's got everything I need. And the reason why it's good is because depending on the situation, I can choose to just put it in my hand for a 2k counter, or I can play it out if I feel like I need extra characters on the board. The other trigger body that I'm playing is of course the Kikanojo. Everyone also knows what this card does. Really good card, good attacking stat line in this current meta, and a very annoying ability to deal with since if they do KO it, I get to heal a life. Now, moving into the new cards I've added to the deck, I am now playing the 2-cost Tonoyasu. I've played this card in my deck before, but I took it out when I moved over to OP11 with the new starter deck cards because I was trying to make room. However, after playing the deck list several times now, I've decided to put it back into the deck because it lets me give my Land of Wano type leader or character cards plus 3000 power for the turn. It's really good for me to establish early for only 2 Dawn and then, use it later to hit power thresholds that I couldn't hit before. But also, because it is 2 Dawn, it works really well in tandem with my leader's ability to take 2 Rested Dawn and add it to another character. So, really good card for the early stages of the game when I need to swing high, or even in the later stages of the game when I want to be able to use leader ability and, gain the extra power. I'm now also playing the 3-cost Ashura Doji. So this one is definitely the newest card to the deck, so let's read it out. Ashura Doji is a yellow 3-cost 3000 power slash character with 1000 power and says on play, if your leader has the Land of Wano type and your opponent has 3 or more life cards, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a base cost or 5 or less. And so the reason why I've added this card into the deck is because I have been running into a lot of aggro decks in my area. And I felt like including this card has been a tremendous help because it helps me control the board while establishing my own character, since I get to KO a character with a base cost or 5 or less. And the base cost is very important because if I am playing against a Blackbeard deck that might have the cost increase on their characters, I can get around that with Ashura Doji. But it is a situational card, so I'm only playing 2 copies of it, and I feel like that's a decent number to have. Lastly, the last card I am playing in the deck that isn't so new, but it's new to, for OP11, it's the 1-cost Blade Slice. So this is an event that has a main/counter and says up to one of your leader or character cards gains plus 1000 power during this turn. Then if your opponent has 2 or less life cards, rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. It also has a trigger that says rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. And again, the reason why I've added this into the deck is because I have been running into a lot of aggro decks. Being able to give my leader plus 1000 power for the entire turn, especially as a counter, is really powerful because it means I don't have to use as many counters from my hand. Not only that though, it is a really good way for me to rest 4 cost or less characters. So there's a lot of decks right now that run a lot of 1-cost, 2-cost blockers, which is really annoying for my leader to deal with. And prior to this deck list, I was struggling to find the cards in my deck to rest it. And so including 3 copies of Blade Slice has been really helpful in, dealing with these situations. I get to rest a character, but also give my leader plus 1000 power for the entire turn. It's a really great card, and it only costs 1 Dawn. So having that in combination with my other rest cards like Izo, Hody Jones, and even the Gum Gum Elephant Gatling, I have a lot of resting option now, and it's proven to be, a really good card in the deck. And that's pretty much it. Here's the full deck list already on screen for you to view again, and you'll be able to find this deck list in the description below. Shout out to Eggman for this deck builder. You can find it at his website at Eggman Events. So, how did we do for week 5 of the OP11 meta? We had 29 players, 4 rounds, and I went 3-1. Woo! Here were my matchups. Round 1 was against Yellow Eustace Captain Kid. Round 2 was against Blue Buggy. Round 3 was against Red Rononoa Zoro. And round 4 was against Purple Black Monkey D. Luffy. Against Yellow Kid, I won. Against Blue Buggy, I won. Against Red Zoro, I won. And against Purple Black Luffy, I lost. In order to keep this video on the shorter side, I'm not going to review each matchup right now, but I'll be posting all of my matchups, win or loss, with my VOD review following this video. So be sure to check it out. Now, let's talk about what went well, what didn't go well, and what's next for me. What went well? For the most part, I think I approached every match this week very well. I thought I had a good understanding of what my win conditions were versus what my opponent's win conditions were, and it really helped me navigate through the game. With this week's deck list, I was really happy with the ratios, and especially felt like I had plenty of resting options that helped me tremendously in a few of my games. And for this week, I really have to give my MVP award to Ashura Doji. This card was a really good addition to the deck, felt great playing it down, KOing my opponent's character, and establishing my own character to help control the board a little bit. What didn't go well? Not much actually. This week was overall really good, and we were so close to another locals win. In my last game though, I will say I did learn a big lesson on understanding when I should try to go for game versus when I should not. It was probably the only bad thing that stood out for me this week. I just evaluated wrong when I had to pick whether to go for game or to go for board. And finally, what's next for me? It's time to let Green Yellow Yamato have a vacation. I'm really happy with this deck list right now, so figured it's a good time to take a break. What this means is that I will finally be playing some other leader. Woo! And I've already got the next one lined up, so I hope you look forward to that. And that's gonna do it for week 5 of the OP11 Meta. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Until next time, remember, keep your minds fresh and your spirits free. See ya!